The question before Rob Ninkovich, should the Browns be interested in trading for Jimmy Garoppolo? And keep in mind, Rob Ninkovich played with both Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett.
Of course, and I've played with Jacoby. I played with Jimmy G. They're on the team at the same time I was, so I understand both of those guys are great football players. But Jimmy G, obviously, with the experience that he has in high-pressure situations, he's been on a great football team. The Browns don't want to have a lost season here, and if you're on that team and you're not the quarterback, you don't want to have a lost season either. You want to compete. You want to put yourself in the position to win a division, to get in the playoffs. If you look at the roster, they are loaded. They've been loaded. So now what are they going to do at the quarterback position? I don't know, but I think Jimmy G being available, that seems like the best option.
Brad, I'm not sure that the Browns are of that mindset. I think they probably revisit it if the suspension is increased significantly. Maybe where I want to go with this, do you think there's a tipping point? And if so, how many games do you think they look and say, yeah, we might look at a Jimmy Garoppolo?
I mean, selfishly, Dave, I wish they would look at him if it was 10 or more or whatever. But financially, it really only makes sense if it's a year, right? I feel like it has to be a year. And I think if it was a year, and it may end up being a year at this point, that they need to revisit who your quarterback is for all of 2022. So at least check his health, at least see what, if he gets cut, maybe you can get him on the cheap. But either way, with his contract, with Deshaun Watson's contract tolling, if he gets a year suspension, it certainly makes their money situation more flexible moving forward, and they would be able to maybe take on some of that money of his existing contract, that is Jimmy Garoppolo I'm talking about, and bring him in, who I think is a better option than Jacoby Brissett. No, Jacoby Brissett respected. I think he can win some games for the Browns, but Garoppolo is just more seasoned, knows this offense better, has won in this offense, and if you give him the weapons, and maybe not so much the weapons, but the talented team around him, that I think that they would be better off with Garoppolo. But I think it has to be a year for the Browns to honestly look at it. I would love them to look at it if it was like 10, 12, whatever. But I think it needs to be a year for the Browns to really take a serious look, Dave.
And the important thing to remember about Jimmy Garoppolo, he went to a Super Bowl. He's made deep playoff runs. So he has won the type of games that the Browns want to be in and win.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been there. He's taken teams there with really good running games, using tight ends, using everything that the Browns have. I mean, it's a very, very similar system. Great run game out in San Francisco. Great run game here in Cleveland. Hopefully a good defense this year. I think they'll gel and come together. So all the parts around him to be that game manager type that can make big plays when he needs to, which he did in a few of those deep playoff runs. So I think he gets them further than Brissett would, for sure.